Thinking about moving to Breckenridge? Well, you're in the right place. Today we are going to dive into the 8 best neighborhoods in and around Breckenridge. My name is Anthony and I'm about to show you guys what makes Breckenridge such an amazing place to live. But before we get into the video, you guys need to know who to contact and what number to call in case you have more questions or if you actually want to make the move out here to Breckenridge. So call this number on the screen right here and you'll chat directly with me. This is my personal cell. Other than that, let's get right into it. So for our first neighborhood, we are talking creme de la creme of Breckenridge, Colorado, and that is the Shock Hill neighborhood. Access is the key word here in Shock Hill. You have private gondola access that will take you right to the base of the Breckenridge ski resort, either to Peak 7 or Peak 8, which also has a multitude of dining options. In the summertime, you also have activities such as mini golf, ropes course, and a number of other things that the extended family and the kids get to enjoy if everybody's not into the winter activities. But the Shock Hill neighborhood is the most luxurious neighborhood that you're going to find in Breckenridge. The average price per square foot is just over $1,400 per square foot. Yeah, you heard that right, over $1,400 a square foot, so it's no joke. Very custom, luxurious builds with open living floor plans, big windows that encapsulate the mountain views of the Breckenridge ski resort and down valley towards Baldy Mountain. You also have access to the Nordic Center. I know a couple of people that live in Shock Hill and they tell me about how they can walk right out their back door straight onto the Nordic Center path to do some cross-country skiing or fat biking. You can also take that gondola access down to Main Street if you want to go downtown to Breckenridge and enjoy all that Main Street Breckenridge has to offer as well. Now, if you like big sweeping mountain views or if you're a golfer, now we can talk about our second neighborhood, which is the Highlands at Breckenridge, located on the Jack Nicklaus designed golf course. These homes are more of a mountain modern finish as opposed to the higher end luxury finishes that you're going to find at Shock Hill. Still a pretty hefty price point, although nowhere near what you're going to find at Shock Hill. We're in about the $800 to $900 a square foot range, and you have a multitude of different options of housing to choose, again, from mountain modern to some hyper luxury to some more contemporary styling. Some have great views of the 10-mile range in Breckenridge, or you can have views of the golf course. Pretty much whatever you want to have in terms of view or privacy, you can find in the Highlands at Breckenridge. And they also have a Nordic Center, so they'll convert the golf course into a Nordic Center in the winter time. One of the coolest things that they do is that they have horse-drawn carriage rides. My fiance and I had the opportunity to take that. It's very romantic if you're looking for a little night on the town with your partner. It is definitely something I highly recommend. They serve up some hot chocolate or coffee, take you on a horse-drawn carriage ride around the Nordic Center. We even saw moose while we were out there. So the Highlands at Breckenridge is one of the cooler neighborhoods, although it is a little bit farther outside of town. So if you're looking to go downtown for a bite to eat, you're looking at about a 5 to 10 minute drive depending on road conditions and traffic, especially on the weekends. But there are some great dining options downtown in Breckenridge. If you're more fancy, bougie, kind of looking for the higher end dining experience, you can go to Rootstock, Radicato. And then if you're looking for something more down to earth, places like Canteen or Ollie's Pub and Grill. Ollie's has the best wings in all of Summit County, and they have a new location that they opened up just over a year ago. They are actually located on a dredge. Basically, it is an old mining device that is on top of a pond and basically dredges out the water below to look for minerals. So they've repurposed it now for the Ollie's Pub and Grill, and you can grab wings there. Again, the best wings in town. Watch some sports, great place to hang out. Some other great things to know about the Highlands: if you are a mountain biker or a off-road enthusiast, you are right along Tiger Road, which takes you off into the back country between Breckenridge and Keystone. There's over 90 miles of off-roading trails for dirt bikes, Jeeps, OHVs, and then we've got a ton of mountain bike trails as well. We have a very active community filled with tons of different enthusiasts from mountain bikers and off-roaders, so you can certainly find your community, and being in the Highlands will be that much more convenient for you to get access to those kinds of activities. Next up is one of my favorite neighborhoods in Summit County. We're getting a little bit outside of Breckenridge now, going north to Frisco, Colorado, specifically downtown. Frisco is named Main Street of the Rockies for its charming allure. When you're there, it's really fun to walk around, grab a bite to eat, hop around from bar to bar, or go to your favorite restaurant. And then Frisco has a ton of different recreation activities, from the recreation/bike path. My fiance and I will frequent that in the summertime. We'll take our road bikes all the way to Breckenridge, or you can go the other way all the way to Vail, and you can hit the rest of Summit County, so hit Silverthorne, Dillon, or Keystone as well. And then one of our favorite things to do in the summertime, Frisco, a couple years back, underwent a $2 million renovation project for their marina area and added a sandy beach, so you can actually kick back, catch a tan in the summertime. Yeah, I know we're in the Rocky Mountains, but it does get pretty warm here because of our altitude. The UV rays are about 36% stronger at our altitude than they are at sea level. We're about 9,000 feet. So when you're out there laying on the sand, you can catch a pretty mean tan, and you can actually go swimming at the Frisco beach as well. We'll even bring our dog with us. The dogs can hang out and run around. We bring our paddle boards and kayaks so we can get out there. I'll bring my fly fishing rod as well, as the 10-mile creek flows right into the Dillon Reservoir there. So you can toss a line in and catch a rainbow trout if you'd like to do that. So Frisco really has a ton of different things to do. And Frisco is centrally located to all the ski resorts in Summit County. So it's about a 10-minute drive to Breckenridge, 10-minute drive to Copper Mountain, 10-minute drive to Keystone, and yeah, it's just super convenient, and Frisco is easily one of my favorite places to be in Summit County. Now, if you're looking to buy a place in Frisco, there's a multitude of different options. If you're looking anything a couple of blocks off of Main Street, you're going to be paying anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a square foot. And then as you go farther out, that price will decrease anywhere from $600 to $750 a square foot. But the median single family home is a little over $2 million. So if you are looking to buy a single family detached home in Frisco, you're looking at the Reserve, or possibly closer to Mountainside and Peak 1 and Mount Royal. Pretty much any single family home in Summit County you're going to be spending a pretty penny for, but Frisco is pretty much a step down from Breckenridge in terms of price. So pricey, but you will get a little bit of a discount being outside of Breckenridge. If you're looking for places to eat in Frisco Main Street, I highly recommend checking out Vinny's Italian Restaurant, easily some of the best Italian in all of Summit County. Butterhorn Bakery for their breakfast. Get their Eggs Benedict. If you're feeling more of a dessert style breakfast, the waffle is incredible. Comes with pecans, fruits, and powdered sugar. Highly recommend that. There's also Fifth Ave Grill. They have a great happy hour, and again, tons of other options up and down Main Street for you to choose. And if you're just looking for a coffee, Rocky Mountain Coffee Roasters is the way to go. All right, and next up, we're talking Breckenridge Main Street, or the Breckenridge downtown core. I like to define this as any residential property within several blocks walking distance to Breckenridge Main Street. The Main Street is mainly commercial properties, restaurants, bars, shops, things of that nature. Very limited residential properties on Main Street itself. So if you're looking to buy something close to Main Street, you're going to be looking at about 1 to 5 block walk to get downtown to Main Street, Breckenridge. Now, Main Street is the heart and soul of Breckenridge, Colorado. It is truly like a Hallmark movie or a Christmas card. When you're walking down, the snow's falling, the Christmas lights are on. There's really nothing else like it in the entire country, in my opinion, and it is one of the coolest things to take your family, or if you're looking for a romantic night on the evening, walk up and down Main Street, go to the Riverwalk Center, check out all the Christmas trees that are lit up. They do, the town of Breckenridge does a fantastic job of lighting up the town and making it feel really like a Hallmark movie. Now for things to do on Main Street Breckenridge, we have a multitude of restaurants and bars to go to if you're looking for a very fancy dinner. As I mentioned before, you could hit Rootstock, you could hit Hearthstone, you can go to Radicato, you can even take a shuttle just off of Main Street over to the Breckenridge Distillery. I highly recommend the Breckenridge Distillery because they have some of the best cocktails in all of Summit County. And then there's tons of bars, and Breckenridge really is one of the only towns in Summit County that has nightlife. So if you want that late night club dancing type of scene, go to Gold Pan Saloon, go to Rocky Mountain Underground, go to Cecilia's Bar and Lounge, and you can get all of that there. As well, Breckenridge is home to Breckenridge Ski Resort. So just a few blocks off of Main Street, you can get to the gondola, or you can get to Quicksilver Chairlift, both your easiest walking access to get onto the ski resort, or you can go to the transfer station and take the summit stage all the way up to the base of Peak 8 or Peak 7 and ski from there as well. And an important note, the summit stage will take you all around Summit County. It is our tax subsidized shuttle system, which is free to use on the daily. So you just hop on and it'll take you all over Summit County, as well as all the way to Fairplay, to Leadville. So it is a very convenient shuttle system, meaning you can just leave your car and just kind of go wherever you need to go. And just a short distance from the Main Street in Breckenridge, you have some of my favorite mountain biking trails up by Carter Park called Barney Flow, Barney Ford, and you can also hike those trails as well. And then right outside of Main Street, we have the recreation path, which I mentioned earlier, that you can take a road bike or walk your dog and go all the way to Frisco and the rest of Summit County. Now, housing in Breckenridge is going to be the most expensive in all of Summit County. You're looking to spend anywhere from $850 all the way up to $1,400 a square foot, depending on how far away from Main Street and depending on the exact complex that you're looking at. It is hard to compare properties on a price per square foot basis because everything is so unique. We have builds that were built back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and then we have a ton of new housing stock that has been built in the last 15 years. So generally speaking, the closer you are to Slopeside, and that could be about a 3 or 4 block off of Main Street, you're looking at spending $1,000 plus a square foot. Anything right on Main Street Breckenridge, again, $1,000, $1,100 a square foot. And then as you kind of branch out further away from the ski resort going east, you can save a little bit of money, but still don't be expecting to get a deal for housing here in Breckenridge. You're going to spend a lot of money. So bust out the checkbook. $1,000 a square foot and higher is typical in Breckenridge. Just a quick note before we go to the next neighborhood, I do want to mention that Breckenridge and Summit County in general is very dog friendly. As you're walking down Breckenridge Main Street, you will notice that there are dog bowls for water and treats at almost every single storefront. Usually stores will allow dogs to walk right in, so if you want to bring your pooch and walk around with him, don't worry about having to leave him in the car or whatever. You can just walk around wherever you want to go. My dog has pretty much memorized every treat box in the entire downtown core, so every time we go walking with him, he knows exactly where it is, and he'll start actually pulling us right to the treat, and he'll just sit there until he gets a treat. So our dog will gain a few pounds every time he goes to Main Street. But again, super dog friendly, so don't be afraid to bring your dog along with you when you come to Breckenridge. Next, for all you diehard ski enthusiasts out there, we have the River Run Village at Keystone, which is the central hub of Keystone, Colorado, and Keystone Ski Resort. It has this European village-like flair where all of your shops and restaurants are all condensed into this one plaza-style area, so you can bounce around from place to place. Very picturesque. And then just a short walk from there, you've got gondola access to get right onto this Keystone Ski Resort. On a side note, Kindred Residences is the brand new development going up at the base of the gondola right now. So if you're looking to get into the most sought after luxury ski and ski out development in the country, look no further than Kindred Residences. It is going to completely transform the feel of Keystone, adding a number of different restaurants, ski school, school and private residences, and a 107-room hotel right at the base of the gondola. There's simply nothing like it in the entire country. Now, some other things to know about the River Run Village. It is managed by the Keystone Neighborhood Company, and you actually pay into that if you buy a residence in the River Run Village. And what's cool about that is that they maintain all the pathways, roadways, and walkways in the River Run Village. The walkways are actually heated, so you don't have to worry about walking on ice or snow with your ski boots, which I know can be a total pain in the ass. So you don't even have to worry about that, which is great. And then also you have, again, a ton of shops and restaurants, even a small grocery store there, so you can get your bare essentials. The Rocking R Ranch grocery store is great. They'll even bring steaks from their ranch as well. So if you're looking to just grill out at your place, you can do that too. And then Keystone is home to the Keystone's Children's Ski and Ride School, which is consistently ranked as one of the best in the country, making this a very family-friendly resort. So if you're looking for a great place to bring the kiddos, definitely come ride Keystone. And I can speak from that firsthand. Keystone does have some of the more mellow terrain here in Summit County. They have their infamous School Marm run, which is a 3.5-mile green circle run from top of Keystone Resort all the way to the base down to the gondola. So it is the perfect run for kids to learn how to get better at skiing. And again, super mellow terrain, so lots of blues, lots of greens, great for families and friends. And some other things about Keystone: we have the Warren Station, which hosts music events, comedy shows, all different types of events. And then the Keystone River Run Village has a couple of really famous events, such as the Wine and Jazz Festival, Bacon and Bourbon Festival, their Mardi Gras Festival. So many different things happening right in Center Village there at the River Run Village in Keystone. So tons of activities to do for the family year-round, and one of the best places, I think, to buy a home in Keystone. Speaking of which, if you're looking to buy something in Keystone, you are going to be spending, again, $900 to $1,100 a square foot for any kind of resale. A lot of the condos in River Run Village were built in the 70s and 80s, so they are older units, although you will find some remodeled ones here and there. All vary in terms of their floor plans, some open, some smaller cozy studio condos, all with varying views. So you're either looking down into the village, or you're looking at the ski resort, or you're looking over towards Arapahoe Basin, or potentially over towards Buffalo Mountain off to the west side. And then there are a couple of new construction opportunities in Kindred and Alcove. Kindred residences, as I mentioned before, 96 private residences ranging from $1,800 to $2,400 a square foot. Because it is a brand new luxury development, expect to pay those prices, especially being ski in, ski out. And the Alcove townhomes, again, about similar price point. A 4-bed, 5-bath is available right now for just under $4.5 million. And that's about 2,700 square feet. So anything new build in Keystone, you're going to be paying a pretty penny for. But if you want something more affordable, you can look at the resale in and around the River Run Village for about $900 to $1,100 a square. Now, if you like a little bit more privacy, a little bit more quaint style neighborhood, not as many tourists, you're going to want to look at the Ravens Golf Course in Three Peaks neighborhood in Silverthorne, Colorado, which is just about a 20-minute drive north of Breckenridge. Now, what I love about this neighborhood is that, yes, you do have your Three Peaks Raven Golf Course, which is public access, and it's great to play. They also convert that into a Nordic Center in the wintertime as well. But you back up to the Gore Mountain Range and the Eagle's Nest Wilderness, which is fairly untouched on a general perspective compared to most of Colorado. Most wildernesses that you go into, most national forest areas, you can find a lot of people. But back there in the Gore Mountain Range, there isn't a lot of drivable access or off-road access. So mainly the people that you're going to see back there are doing a lot of backcountry hiking, skiing, and it can be pretty intimidating, but it lends itself to a more quiet style of living. So you get some of the most incredible views. I personally live just across the highway from the Three Peaks Raven Golf Course, so we get these incredible views of the Gore Mountain Range, which you can find in the Three Peaks neighborhood as well. And then again, these homes built in the 70s, 80s. We have a small section that was built within the last 10 years. So you can find some more modern builds, and there are some modern ones for sale. If you're looking to buy a home in the Three Peaks, expect to spend anywhere from a little over 2 million all the way up to 5.5 million, depending on the style of home that you are looking for. But it's similar to the Highlands in Breckenridge, where you have these big mountain modern homes with open floor plans, big windows, sweeping views of the golf course and mountain range. And again, in terms of hiking, backpacking, backcountry access, Gore Range is probably the most isolated compared to all of the other national forest areas around here in Summit County. Case in point, my fiance did the famous Eccles Pass hike, which wraps around Buffalo Mountain. It is about an 12 mile loop. And on that hike, we maybe saw about 7 people the entire day. We did see some backpackers and whatnot, but basically it felt like we had the entire wilderness to ourselves. So it was so relaxing, such an amazing experience. And certainly a challenging hike, being 12 miles at this altitude. But again, some of the most incredible views, incredible wildlife. We saw deer, we saw a moose, we see fox, lots of marmot, but you get a range of different things when you're hiking out in the backcountry there. And it just feels like you have it all to yourself, and it makes it feel like paradise. All right, now since we're in Silverthorne, I just wanted to add a little bonus neighborhood, the Ptarmigan neighborhood. And the reason I didn't want to add it onto the list is it's the neighborhood that I live in, and I personally think it's the best neighborhood living here full time. It might not be for everybody if you're a tourist, as the road conditions up here are a little wonky. Basically, this plot of land was a federal land grant for Korean War vets, and they placed the land into a grid section because they were under a time constraint. And so the roads are all out of whack here. Really not great. If you're not from here, you have to deal with your own snow removal. But the cool thing about that is because these plots of land were separated for the Korean War vets, we actually have land here, which is almost unheard of in Summit County to get anything over an acre. So we actually sit on a flat acre. We have incredible west-facing views. We have an incredible mountain range in our backyard. So Ptarmigan is an awesome neighborhood, but rarely does a house come up for sale in this neighborhood. I just wanted to mention it because I do live here and don't want you guys to think that where I live isn't one of my favorite neighborhoods. Certainly is my favorite neighborhood. Better for living here full time. If you're using this as a vacation home, I wouldn't necessarily recommend Ptarmigan. Next up is the music capital of the Rocky Mountains, or at least that's what I like to call it. We have the town of Dillon. And the reason I think it's the music capital of the Rocky Mountains is because we have the Dillon Amphitheater, which was renovated about 7 years ago. They put a few $1 million into revamping it, and it is incredible. We get some awesome names coming through. Last year we had Milky Chance, Pretty Lights. We even get some great cover bands like the Eagles cover band, which honestly can't even tell they're a cover band. They sound just like the Eagles, and you get the coolest venue in the world. Seriously, I'm like being completely biased here, but I think it's the coolest venue in the world because you have the Rocky Mountain backdrop. So you're looking at Buffalo, you're looking at Peak 1, you're looking at Red Peak, and then you've got the Dillon Reservoir off to the left side there. And it's just like, where else do you get a venue like that? And then, you know, on top of that, when you're out to get a drink at the amphitheater and in Summit County in general, because you're at altitude, alcohol affects you a little bit more. So at this altitude, 1 drink is the equivalent to 3 drinks at sea level, which means you get to save a little bit of cheddar, man. How cool is that? Have 1 drink, feel buzzed, have a great time at the amphitheater. That's why I think it's the music capital of the Rocky Mountains and potentially the country. And then we also have Lake Dillon in the summertime, which is awesome if you want to do some kayaking, paddleboarding. The Dillon Marina also offers pontoon rentals, so you can grab a motorboat, hang out with the friends, go out for the day. I wouldn't recommend swimming in Lake Dillon though. Technically, Lake Dillon is a reservoir, and it is the reservoir for the city of Denver. So yeah, that is actually Denver's water that we're boating on and we're swimming in, which is really weird. But I wouldn't recommend swimming because The highest temperature, you're looking at about 65 degrees surface temperature, but as soon as you get about 2 feet under that, the water is about 50, really most of the summer, so your body can go into shock. It is not safe to be swimming if you're not a good swimmer. You are allowed to wade in the water technically, and I know I mentioned before that in Frisco you can swim. Although if you're not from here and you're not used to really cold Rocky Mountain snow melt water, I wouldn't recommend it, or at least be very careful. And then in the wintertime, when the lake freezes over, the town of Dillon will actually groom a cross-country ski trail that you can cross-country ski, you can Nordic ski, you can fat bike, you can walk with the dog, pretty much do whatever you want. I even see some people out there doing some kiteboarding. Basically, they're on their snowboard and they've got a kite that's kind of pulling them, similar to kite surfing out in the ocean. So on a powder day, instead of heading out to the ski resort, you could do that as well. And then Dillon, I think, still has a ton of room for growth. Kind of the cheaper area of Summit County, along with Silverthorne in the resale department, meaning the older style condos and homes. You can still get them from anywhere from $600 to $800 a square foot, depending on proximity to town core or proximity to the lake or amphitheater. But Dillon still has tons of room for growth. The town is actually actively talking with the developer in restructuring the town core, which could potentially mean adding a 300,000 square foot commercial space, another indoor amphitheater, more condos. This is all kind of in the air right now and it's not guaranteed. But I certainly think Dillon could use a revamp, and I think that's where the potential is for appreciation and growth. So I think it is a great play. And if you're a warm weather enthusiast, there's just no better place to be than on the lake and then catching a concert at nighttime. All right, and our final neighborhood that we're going to talk about is the Summit Cove neighborhood. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because this neighborhood has a very local community feel. Summit Cove is located just about 5 minutes east of Dillon and about 15 minutes northeast of Breckenridge. Again, very local community feel, has one of the best elementary schools, if not the best, in Summit County. Obviously, I highly recommend looking online for that information. I'm not touting it as statistically the best or anything like that, but it is a really great school. Case in point, I had a couple of younger clients that I helped a few years back buy their first single-family detached home in the Cove, specifically because they have a younger daughter and they want her to grow up around other children and be close to a great school. So Summit Cove is awesome in that respect. You also do have the recreation path that I mentioned before, and then you have some great mountain biking and hiking trails off into the Horseshoe Gulch area. So you have great things for everybody, and it's a perfect community to get to know your locals. Again, you're going to see more full-time residents in the Summit Cove neighborhood, so you're going to make lifelong friends there. So one of these neighborhoods that if you plan to live here full-time, I highly recommend looking into Summit Cove. And some other facts about Colorado before you decide to make the move out here is that we have an income tax rate of about 4.4%, so good to know. And then also we have our property taxes, which are very competitive compared to the rest of the country. Basically, our property taxes are assessed through the tax assessor and then multiplied by a mill levy. There's all this jargon that goes into it. I'm not a tax professional. All I know is that my taxes are very low. Our house is valued at a little over 1.2 million, and in the 2022 tax year, we paid $2,700 for our property taxes for the entire year. You compare that to places like New York, New Jersey, or California, you are saving a boatload of cash. So definitely something to consider before you come out to Colorado. And those are some of the best neighborhoods that you're going to find in and around Breckenridge, Colorado. I hope you guys find all of that useful. Again, pretty much any neighborhood that you're going to live in, you're going to get access to the recreation path, access to hiking, access to great food, restaurants, the lake, skiing. I mean, Summit County is an active community, very outdoor minded people here. You're going to find them outside and all weather conditions all year round. So get ready to get your backpack on and get your ski boots on, get your hiking boots on, and get ready for an adventure. Speaking of which, if you're ready to take the adventure of buying a home here in Breckenridge, call this number or text this number below. This is my personal cell, and I'll be happy to guide you through the process of what it takes to buy a home here in Breckenridge. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.